I had halitosis or what, but it's very sweet anyway. So this is for her, Felipe do Violino. Thank you very much. Muito obrigado, as they say in Brazil. Thank you very much. This next tune is another tune that I wrote living down in Brazil. And I think I'd been in Rio, so I lived in Rio de Janeiro, and it's quite warm down there. And I'm from Western North Carolina, where we have all 4 seasons. And in Brazil, they have 2 seasons, or at least Rio, hot and hotter. And so I wrote this tune, I think after suffering in the heat, like the 30th consecutive day of 100 degrees, 100% humidity. I wrote this tune called Chega aí outono, which translates to basically, arrive already fall, naively thinking that Brazil had all 4 seasons, and not in Rio. Fall never came. But I wrote this piece of music, so Chega aí outono. Dois. Thank you. Thank you so much. This next piece of music was written in the 1960s, I believe. Not entirely sure. But it was the theme song to a very popular movie back then, which some of you may have seen, called Black Orpheus, or Orfeu Negro in Portuguese. And the name of the tune is Manhã de Carnaval, which means Carnival morning, or the morning of Carnival. It was written by Luís Bonfá. So, Manhã de Carnaval by Luís Bonfá. I don't know if I introduced this guy yet. This is Cesar Garabini on the guitar. All right, we're going to continue with... this is a tune that I wrote for a project called Brazilian Strings Trio, which is a project with another American violinist who fell in love with this music. Actually, in both of our cases, we fell in love with a girl, a brasileira, and moved to Brazil, and then started playing this music like crazy. And both of those were happy endings. We're both still with those women, and we both still play this music. And we have this project together. So we were both tasked with writing some tunes for the album. And so this is a tune I wrote called Noel Destino. And it's written in the forró style from the northeast of Brazil. So this is basically Brazilian fiddle dance music. So here's a tune called Noel Destino. Thank you. All right, we're going to play a tune now by the great Pixinguinha. Pixinguinha was kind of like the Duke Ellington of Brazilian music. He just wrote a lot of music that became standards in many different kinds of Brazilian music. Samba, choro, what later became MPB, música popular brasileira. And This is a machixe, which is a kind of rhythm that they have in Brazil, called cheguei, which means I arrived. We're a little late, but we arrived anyway.
Thank you. Well, the person in my life that I've probably written the most music for by this point is my cat. It's true, much to the chagrin of my wife. But this is one of the first tunes I wrote for my cat. And it's called Cheio de Mordidas, which means full of little bites. So as you might have guessed, my cat she bites everything. She just eats everything. Our upstairs bedroom looks like a graveyard of socks and, socks that once were and articles of clothing. I figured of all the tunes within Brazilian music, the tune that best fit her personality was a samba. So this is a little cat samba called Full of Little Bites.
All right, we're going to take a little bit of a detour here. I grew up playing traditional Irish music, and I'm going to share a little bit of that with you right now. It wasn't called traditional Irish music when I was a kid. It was just called music, because that's all there was. My mom's an Irish flute player, and my dad plays guitar and mandolin. And so I grew up listening to all these tunes, and then started learning the fiddle and the tin whistle and various Irish instruments. And got to elementary school and discovered there was this whole other world out there. Hanson and Backstreet Boys, or I don't even know what was popular back then. I'm dating myself now, which I guess is okay. So I'm going to play a medley of two tunes. The first is a tune written by Tommy Peoples. Tommy Peoples was a fiddle player from the northwest of Ireland, a county called Donegal. How many people here have been to Ireland, out of curiosity? Wow. Can't make up too much stuff tonight then, because this is a well-educated audience. Tommy Peoples was maybe one of the most influential, no, certainly one of the most influential fiddle players of all time, and he was certainly influential to me. I grew up listening to this record, the Bothy Band, the 1975 Bothy Band album, where I heard a tune that I'm going to play. And the first tune in the set is actually a composition of Tommy's. It's called The Mouse in the Attic, inspired by a real mouse in a real attic, I presume. If you listen, you can hear the mouse scurrying throughout the tune. And then the second tune is the tune I heard off of that Bothy Band record, which is called The Laird of Drumblare. It's a Scottish tune, but Tommy kind of Tommified it and turned it into an Irish reel. And if you don't know what these things are, you're about to find out. But they're fun dance tunes anyway, so feel free to move around a little bit if you're up for it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Cesar just suggested, that's hard for me to say, that we do a fast tune to relax. We do a fast tune. He just got to take a break, so I think you should do a solo now. We're going to do this tune called Perigoso, which means dangerous. And this is a tune by Orlando Silveira, who is a piano accordion player. And this is just one of our favorite tunes to play, so Perigoso. Thank you. So I'm from Asheville, North Carolina, which is in the western part of the state. And I moved back there from Brazil about 3 years ago, actually a little over 3 years ago. And ever since I've moved back, I've been taking these yearly retreats in the woods where I go and I compose music and get away from it all, specifically technology. So I don't take my phone, no internet, not even my watch. And it's great because I just can focus on composing music and there's no disturbances, theoretically. But I write a lot of the tunes for my albums on these retreats, including the one that we're about to do. I wrote this for the Canta Violino album. And I woke up one morning and there was just this beautiful rhyme, R-I-M-E, on the mountaintops. So if you don't know, rhyme is basically a frozen cloud. And it's beautiful and it inspired this melody instantaneously. And so after I composed it, I immediately searched, I dashed to the Portuguese dictionary to look up the word rhyme in Portuguese, and it doesn't exist. But I found the next best thing, which is frost. So this tune is called Geada, frost, Geada. Thank you. All right, so the next tune has a little story to go with it. Do you like stories? Only if they're good, right? Well, you can be the judge of this. So when I lived in Brazil, my brother came to visit me, and we decided, I lived in Rio de Janeiro, where they have a lot of mountains and neighborhoods which kind of snake up the mountainsides. And we decided that we were going to do this hiking trail, the trailhead of which started at the top of one of these mountains. And so to get to the top, you had to take these switchback, narrow roads by moto taxi. And that's how you got there. My brother had never taken a moto taxi before, but you know, there's a first time for everything. I figured he'll learn. And so we get off at the bus stop, and we call over our moto taxis. I get mine, and I look over, and let me just describe my brother. He's as tall as me and maybe 60 pounds heavier, and he sweats a lot. And he's a big, hairy guy, and it's a hot, typical Rio day. And so he gets on the back of this bike, and he's looking up at the incline, and he figures, well, I guess there's only one way to hold on. And he gives the skinny little Brazilian moto taxi driver a big old sweaty gringo hug. And I could just see the expression on this Brazilian guy's face, like, what is with these gringos? And they're hugging. When will they learn there's handlebars? There's handlebars on the back of the bike, specifically to hold on to. It's the reason they're there. And I just saw this Brazilian guy take my brother's hands and put him on the back of the bike like that. And all the Brazilians are like cracking up, everyone watching this, and I'm cracking up. And I'm like, well, I got to write a tune about this. This is just too good. So I wrote one. It's called Abraço do Gringo, which means the gringo hug. So here is the gringo hug, written for my brother Connor. Thank you all so much. Could you picture my brother on the back of the motorcycle? We're just going to play a few more for you. You've been a great audience. This next tune is called Cochichando. It was written by Pixinguinha. We did a tune by him earlier. And this is kind of a choro sambado, so it's a mixture of choro, which is the kind of music we've been playing mostly tonight. A very old form of music from the 1870s, comes from Rio de Janeiro. And so does samba. So those two genres had a lot of cross-pollination, and this is a tune which kind of fuses them in a way. A choro sambado called Cochichando. Thank you. Well, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much to Benoit and Hélène for opening up their amazing home and letting us play music here. We're honored to be the 915th. And once again, this is Cesar Garabini on the guitar, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot to thank our volunteers as well. So the volunteers and the artists and the organization, everyone here at Tumukua. This is so cool. You're lucky to have this in your own backyard if you live in Orlando.
Please give it up to Finn-Magill. Yeah.
Thank you. We do have CDs. If you like what you heard and you want to take some of it home with you, we have some of that. I should say I'm sort of using we, the royal we here, because Cesar's not on the CDs. Everyone always asks. That one hasn't happened yet, but he's a phenomenal guitar player, so we'll see. We're going to finish here with another tune by the great Pixinguinha. And this is a tune about soccer, which is its own musical genre in Brazil, if you didn't know. Pixinguinha wrote this after Brazil beat Uruguay to win the 1961 World Cup, and it's called 1-0, 1-0. Thank you so much. We don't know what happens now. We don't know where to go. Should we do one more? Or should we do one more? I don't know. Do you want one more? We'll make it a quick one. I know it's a Wednesday night and people have to get up for work. So we'll make it a quick one. Thank you again so much. This is a real treat for us. Thank you to all on Facebook, if you're still with us. Thanks for watching. This is actually our last gig of the tour. Cesar lives in New York City. I live in North Carolina, but we're all over the place. I have a mailing list out there. If you want to keep tabs on me, you can just sign up for it, and I promise I won't blow up your inbox. I'll send you very monthly emails, one at the most per month. And it has tour dates and sometimes sneak listens to upcoming projects. And both Cesar and I are on Facebook and Instagram and all those things that we're told we're supposed to be on as musicians. So you can find us there. Anyway, thank you again.
Let's try the really hard one.
Um.